Lean Six Sigma in the service sector. Firstly, what is Lean Six Sigma? It comprises of two parts, Lean Operations and Six Sigma Quality. Lean Operations involves creating value for customers by minimizing waste. This is commonly called the removal of muda, meaning the removal of waste. The 7 wastes are transport, inventory, motion, waiting, overprocessing, overproduction, and defects. Sometimes the waste of creativity is considered the 8th waste. Six Sigma is simply the process of reducing defects by effectively solving problems. Inventory. Ideally, all stock is already paid for by the customer, as this reduces the chance of any unsold items taking up space in a warehouse for long periods of time. This works for takeaway food, where food is not cooked until someone has ordered it. However, the raw ingredients still have to be stored. Prepaid stock isn't always possible, so companies must come up with alternatives. For instance, Amazon will take things off sale when there is low demand or they run out of stock, but they can't do this with all of their products. The introduction of Amazon Prime has meant that they need to keep stock ready for next day delivery. In some areas near their warehouses, they even advertise same-day delivery. Transportation. Many courier services have a maximum parcel size, which allows them to pack their vehicles efficiently. Charging more for awkwardly shaped parcels makes it less likely there will be wasted space in a vehicle. Companies which deliver their own goods will often have standardized box sizes, which pack effectively. The most appropriately sized vehicles are chosen and filled, reducing the cost of fuel. Transporting during out-of-peak traffic hours reduces the time lost on the road, but this only works for transporting between warehouses. Most end customers prefer to have their parcels delivered when they are at home. Many companies have a limit to how far they will deliver, so that their products do not have to travel far. This means they can make claims on their fast delivery times. Waiting is another waste that needs to be reduced. Delivery services are affected by waiting, which usually causes delays to the estimated delivery time. This can be caused when the driver has to wait for his truck to be loaded, or the loaders have to wait for the trucks to arrive. The fact that loading can also be a faster job than sorting mail out can also cause delays, as the loaders will have to wait for sorters to finish. Having workers that are waiting means that they'll get paid for doing nothing. This means that labour costs are wasted as well as time. All these waiting times mean that customers will not receive their product in time, and so will not be satisfied. This could lead them to not using the service again. This is reduced by having more people sorting out the mail so that they can finish quicker. This means that loaders will always have work to do, as the sorting time is similar to the loading time. Less waiting times mean that the delivery to the customer will be faster, and so they will be more satisfied with the service and more likely to use it again. Motion. Robots are used to systematically move crates of products. This will therefore reduce the waste of motion. Here you can see products are arranged by size, department, and alphabetically. This makes it easier to find the product when needed for delivery. Giving workers sat-navs will help the workers to find the parcels much more effectively. Keeping products that are often bought together closer to each other will reduce the amount of walking needed between them. Also, if the most popular products are kept closer to the exit, they'll be found more efficiently and effectively. Clearly labelling parcels and efficiently loading them will ensure that the drivers don't have to waste any time looking for specific orders. Overprocessing is effectively putting more work into the services we provide than are valued by the customers. It normally exists as our labour doing their jobs in unseen areas. As a result, we have to train them for clear specification with best techniques and let them understand the quality acceptance standards to make sure that they won't do extra work which may not get more satisfaction from customers. For example, using a simple package instead of a complex one, because customers only want the parcel inside this package. For delivering parcels, we should arrange the delivery time which is suitable for these customers. For example, before the day we are going to deliver, we can text customers for what time period they want us to deliver their parcels, and what if they're not at home? We should re-deliver it or place their parcels in the garden or some other place. It reduces the waste during the process and makes sure that our people will not do extra work, which means nothing to customers. For better delivery, we can set up some collecting points for both our labour and consumers. For consumers, these collecting points can let them collect their parcels by themselves if they want. For our staff, they can divide into two parts. One part is responsible for delivering goods to these collecting points. Another part is in charge for delivering these goods from the collecting points to the consumers' houses. First workers should be experienced drivers on highways and motorways, and the other drivers should know the local road conditions very well. Each worker will therefore be working on the process they excel at, and therefore will perform at a high efficiency. Overproduction is the process of making more and more and more. Translated to the services sector, overproduction could manifest as making delivery after delivery after delivery. However, there's a better, more systematic way of improving this. Let's look at an example. Take your average shop. Graham's Groceries currently making over 20 deliveries a day. This not only has financial implications, but environmental ones too. However, Lean Six Sigma has a better or alternative idea. Enter owner and CEO, Graham. Given a fleet of vehicles, each order doesn't have to adopt to a first in first out method, but can be stored into a range of different criteria using a simple tree diagram. Orders within a time frame can be stored into geographical destination, e.g. 5 miles of Coventry city centre, quantity, due date and extra maintenance, e.g. refrigeration for FMCG. Contents of each segment gives the total volume occupied. The total volume occupied by each bundle of deliveries then dictates the size of vehicle needed to make all those deliveries in one go. This helps achieve maximum customer satisfaction with minimum deliveries. Assuming Graham's Groceries now opens a pizza store, Papa Graham's, the mode of transportation for deliveries will factor in time. For example, with a small order quantity due at 6 PM in rush hour traffic, car delivery would be unacceptable. Lean would suggest the easier mode of a motorcycle, helping infiltrate through traffic. This not only decreases overproduction with respect to time wasted in traffic, but also emissions produced in making delivery. In doing so, each delivery has the confidence of helping maximize profit and minimize pollution. So, the next time you need to minimize production, be sure to call Graham, because Graham knows best. How could we improve this? With ever-growing populations, the volume of deliveries being processed is undoubtedly going to increase. Under current circumstances, this is likely to lead to more gridlocked cities. One way of avoiding this could be to avoid going above the ground, but rather below it. Congestion in some cities these days means it's quicker to move from A to B via public transportation. Currently, in many cities there are various forms of underground transportation which only transport passengers. To try and capitalize on this, Lean Six Sigma would suggest harnessing the already established network for deliveries as opposed to creating a new one. This could be facilitated by a separate carriage or section of such vehicles of transportation. Such a collaboration saves time, traffic, and allows frequent deliveries. Defects is one of the 7 wastes, and arguably the most important, as it can greatly impact the customer and so the reputation of the company. The cost implications can also be very high. A defect in the manufacturing sector is simply defined as a product that does not meet the specification. However, a defect in the service sector, especially in the delivery service, can be difficult to define as there are more issues to think about, such as damage to the product during transport, late delivery, and incorrect delivery, for example, delivered to the wrong address. Amazon simplifies this by measuring defects as the number of negative reviews or claims made. Amazon has set targets to its suppliers and independent sellers to reduce these defects. Their target is an order deficient rate, ODR, of at most 1 for every 100 orders. This is very high compared to the 3.4 DPMO target defined by Six Sigma, but considering the number of things that can go wrong with a delivery service, this is reasonable. If the ODR is not met by the suppliers or sellers, they will be suspended for a period of time. This target will make them work harder to not make mistakes, as failing to do so will have costly consequences. Fewer defects will lead to positive reviews and greater customer loyalty. Six Sigma. Originating from manufacturing, Six Sigma is a systematic problem-solving approach to solve problems and reduce variability in processes. It aims to achieve 3.4 defects per million opportunities. A major pillar of the services industry is communication. The importance of this was highlighted with the growth and dominance of Uber. Aside from cheaper fares, Uber captured the need for better and easier communication with the swipe of a finger between cab and customer. Customers can rate and comment on driver performance. This improved communication has given the customer the authority to dictate what they want and how they want it. Adapting this to delivery services, better communication would aid in achieving higher customer satisfaction. The communication between courier and manufacturer is the specific handling instructions, and the communication between the courier and the customers are the delivery instructions. For example, constant updates to the customer. At geographical milestones such as 15, 10, and 5 kilometers, as opposed to vague delivery windows which waste customer time. Communication between local and live couriers, such as traffic updates, road closures, and warnings. All working to ensure the voice of the customer is the dominant voice. So what are the main challenges with LSS? In manufacturing, many wastes are obvious, such as broken parts. However, in the service industry, most wastes are invisible. These include waiting and transport, which are often overlooked, as nothing seems to have gone wrong, even if the current methods are inefficient. Service processes involve real people, so the mood and health of the staff can vary and change the final customer experience, even if all other parts of the process stay the same. This inconsistency can make it very difficult to identify other wastes. So what's the main benefit of using LSS? Improved customer satisfaction is one of the many benefits of reducing waste in the service industry. Unhappy customers will often tell others about their experience, which can lead to others refusing to use a service. A product or service which arrives more quickly with fewer defects will usually make the customer happier and more likely to return.